You're listening to the Bent Business Marketing Podcast, helping struggling entrepreneurs realize your business is bent, not broken. Let us help straighten things out.
Take your seats. Let's get this show on the road. Hey everybody, it's Andy Sokolovich, your host, the one and only host for Bent Business Marketing Radio, a product of bentbusinessmarketing.com. Today we're going to be discussing a tale of focused leadership and social status, really breaking down the difference between a positive leader and a social butterfly. Stay tuned. All right, here we go. Focused leadership versus social status. You know, being in the military for as long as I was, 11 years, I realized there's a huge difference between a focused leader and somebody who's just socially acceptable, kind of like the life of the party, maybe he's involved in a little bit too much and gets distracted. So for that reason, I decided to author a blog post on the 4th of April called A Tale of Focused Leadership and Social Status. Without further ado, here we go. The economic growth of a community is directly attributed to a focused leadership style on which yields high impact results. Leadership is not something which one can bring or brush up on. Becoming an effective leader requires a constant dedication to self-improvement consisting of mental, physical, spiritual, and social gains. This advancement requires discipline along with an insane level of passion. Fortunately for the masses, not just anyone is qualified to fill such a position. I guess the real question to ponder is, what are the qualifications and are they justly earned? In a recent report released as a white paper from the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, 2 post-industrial communities were examined and evaluated in their prospective rates of economic growth. Both towns experienced some bounce back after the decline of one prosperous steel industry. But as the report identifies, one of the 2 towns catapulted to the high road of economic growth while the other just struggled to advance. Social capital is defined as the expected collective or economic benefits derived from the preferential treatment and cooperation between individuals and groups. In a nutshell, social networks in which one is a member seem to have value. Similar to social media marketing, one could assume that the more organizations you are involved in, the better qualified you are to influence productivity within a community. The single guaranteed outcome when a large group of individuals are organized is that over time, one person will be exposed as the leader. Not necessarily an elected position, but a commonly acknowledged position of authority. A person will earn this title only after garnering the trust of their peers. Trust is awarded after someone has demonstrated on a consistent basis that he or she is able to make sound decisions that are both unselfish, morally right, and provide long-term value to the community. That individual will be charged with the awesome responsibility of ensuring the entire community is safe, nourished, cared for physically as well as economically. Now back to the rust-riddled steel towns that we talked about earlier. Each town had appointed leaders. Some were elected, some were self-proclaimed, but very few embraced by the community as a whole. In fact, many of them viewed positions of leadership more as social statuses rather than a duty. One town in particular was driven by the opinions of those who were only qualified through simple rules of lineage. These named spearheads were focused solely on their popularity and quickly lost sight of the ultimate goal. They failed to provide a voice that harnessed a sense of reason, discipline, knowledge, and the ability to give direction. These leaders possessed a ridiculous amount of social capital, but at the end, it wasn't about the connections they had made. The abundance actually interfered and stunted the economic growth, resulting in lost jobs, a declining housing market, and a fading tourism industry. These leaders, they became distracted. Focused leadership employs a sniper-like system that concentrates on a community with very little distractions. The steel town that experienced the rushed economic growth did so only after narrowing their focus and efforts onto a single issue. By trimming their organizational commitments down to a few, they became better equipped to react to an issue which required their undivided attention. The truth is, although a leader with a massive social network yields power, it can cause a community to become brittle. A leader who serves on boards where there is not a conflicting economic interest in development will result in a community that is able to quickly develop its own identity. In summary, the strength of a community is only increased when its members recognize leaders and connect them with the people who share their passion, regardless of their last name. Obtaining a wealth of popularity is not necessary. How you choose to deploy your social capital to enhance a positive result for all will determine overall economic growth. And then here's a quick quote from Mark Clement. Leaders who win the respect of others are the ones who deliver more than they promise, not the ones who promise more than they deliver. So this post I wrote was a little out of my normally traveled beaten path, but I just really felt compelled to share my thoughts with the world. Leadership is something that is often ignored and replaced by social status. I think that's totally not cool, and we as a community could be missing out on greatness if we just choose to start turning a blind eye towards social status and club involvement and organization involvement and concentrate on those that are best fit, both in their past as well as their current status, to lead a community. So again, I apologize for the kind of swap in topic. This is usually very marketing-esque, and overall, I think this does zero in on some key marketing tactics that we can employ using leadership within our organization. The same when we talk about a community can apply to your business. If you look at your business as a civil organization that needs an effective leader, that person may not be you, the overall business owner. It may be one of your employees, but you have to be brave enough to step back and realize that maybe you don't have what it takes to lead your business to the next level. Now, I'm not saying you ditch the business and move on. I'm just saying you start appointing those who are more focused leaders, and then you concentrate on building your social status and start branding your business via word of mouth. It is very, very difficult to do both. I guarantee you that. As always, this is Andy Sokolovich from bentbusinessmarketing.com. You can check us out on Facebook, facebook.com/bentbusinessmarketing. Hit us up on Twitter, twitter.com/bentbiz. That's BENTBIZ. If you don't subscribe to our newsletter, go to bentbusinessmarketing.com. On the top right-hand corner of the screen, you'll see 2 blank boxes. I want you to go ahead and throw your first name only in there, as well as your email address, and you will be receiving an email every Tuesday morning at 7 a.m. like clockwork, and it contains only the best of that week's Bent Business material. I like to refer to it as my Bent Business Babble. So please check us out. If you enjoy what you're listening, I strongly urge you to share this content with your friends. If you have a friend who's a struggling business owner and just does not know where to take their business, at least with their marketing efforts, but I'm kind of a jack of all trades, so I really like to just sit down and talk to people that share a common passion for entrepreneurialism or entrepreneurship, however you want to say that word. And my phone lines are always open. 815-441-2219. Again, that's 815-441-2219. Or if you are in the Clinton, Iowa area and you're lucky enough to live within maybe a 25-mile radius of the Armstrong building in downtown Clinton, also where the Chamber of Commerce is housed, that's where I call home, and my office is right inside that building. So feel free to swing on by. Give me a ring first, let me know you're cruising through, or send me an email, andy@bentbusinessmarketing.com. All right, I'm going to close this out, but I enjoy your guys' company as always. Even though this is a one-directional conversation, let's work to make it 2. See you and have an awesome week.
If you want to hear more, be sure to subscribe and give us the thumbs up by leaving a comment below. As always, thanks for listening to the Bent Business Marketing Podcast. We're passionate about helping you succeed.